What's up, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, love it or hate it, Ripple, you can trade it. We're gonna get into Ripple. We're gonna have some requests about covering Ripple and doing some technical analysis on it. So we're gonna do that in this video. We're gonna go over the XRP USD pair as well as the Bitcoin pair. Okay, and we're gonna take a look at both of them, show you kind of ideally how to play those, and talk about XRP going forward. As we continue on in the various cycles. Right now we're in the LTC halving cycle, so we'll talk about that. All right, guys, let's dive into this video and check that out.
Trade Genius.
All right, guys, so first thing we're going to dive into is the XRP USD, so Ripple dollar. What basically I would do on this, guys, is take a look at these levels. So these are basically areas that I look at where either we're up against it or we've popped over it and looking to hold these levels. So this is a level here at 35 cents, and this one is at 32.6, and this one is at 30.01 approximately. Okay, so if we're talking about accumulating Ripple, this is the area that you want to. Preferably you can get it down here between 31 and so basically 30.1 cents and 32.7 cents or so. Okay, if you can accumulate in this zone, I think that's probably your best risk reward ratio right now. If we look at long-term Ripple, now I'm using a Bitfinex chart, and the reason for that is because they just have the longer look back period. But if I'm looking at it, we can even switch to a weekly view. Obviously this is like the larger node that when we look at the volume profile, so we had this big spike up like most, but this one really was one of the best performing alts at the end of the Bitcoin bull cycle. As Bitcoin ran up to 20K, this really just rocketed and then never really quite recovered. And in fact, on this last cycle that we've seen, our Bitcoin's making a bottom and moving up, Ripple's one of the major pairs that move, and it's really been lagging and hasn't really traded along with the other ones as much. And so I found that a little surprising. I'm not going to get into the project. There's a lot of people that love the project, a lot of people that are against it. I'm not going to get into that. It's tradable, and as with most all alt projects, this goes for all of them. It's all speculative, right? We're in the early stages of this stuff still. If you guys are into this stuff, you guys are early adopters. We're into the early stages of this stuff, so we just it's all about traction. Does a Ripple protocol get traction and take off? Maybe, we don't know, right? So basically all we do is basically we treat these things as speculative type things. Either you can swing trade it, or if you're down in these levels, then you might be thinking, well, you could actually allocate some for a longer term hold, right? And see what comes of it. But this level here, this 32 cent level is actually right around where like most of the volume accumulation is. So you're in a level that's a lot of people have started to put their capital to work as far as the cost basis on Ripple. So this is a weekly view, and we've had a couple of these. This is our slingshot indicator, and basically what that is, that's kind of a indicator that waits for like the move to go, and then shows you when it's time, it's like a momentum indicator. So if a move has started, it gets you another entry to get back into that move, and that's what that's designed for. Now the money makers are looking for cyclical turns. Okay, so on the weekly, basically what happens is the cycle bottomed. Okay, so now we're looking for this to turn up more, and there isn't a lot of signals when it comes to the money maker. So we had one here, boom, and then it saw the top turn and it signaled there. And so basically you look at those as like bottom of cycle, top of cycle, especially on like the longer term time frames. Those signals will speed up if you're using them on shorter term time frames. But so basically what we'd be looking at is that this turns up, but it's been having some trouble getting going every time. And I'll switch to a daily chart. Again, this is XRP USD. Every time it's gotten going or gotten to at least a little bit of upside, it's like they sell right into it. And so like a lot of these moves, if we look from just 2019, anytime there was some kind of momentum to the upside, it was just sold right into. So you can see these daily bars. It looks like you're just getting started, and then it gets sold into. The last one that had any kind of sustained move was back in December, and you had several days where it moved up. We had a classic blow-off type candle here, and that was it. So it's interesting because we saw another attempt to move up, but just again rolled over here. Kind of with the rest of the alts as of late, kind of as Bitcoin took off and had that big surge higher, kind of sucked out the market cap from these other pairs. So this isn't, I don't think Ripple's headed for the ground here. This will probably be around for a while. We still have the LTC having to get through and the BTC having to get through. So there's a lot of trading left to be done on this. But these are the levels. If you're looking to position longer term, anywhere between 30 and 35, I know that's a large percentage range, but if you're patient, you can get into this lower half of this range. I think these are going to be key levels that this thing comes out of. Once it clears these volume nodes here, you look at this big volume gap, you're going to see this thing run to 46 cents. I don't think, a lot of people look at it at these levels, look at it not really performing and think it's over, and it's just not. Okay, some things take a little bit longer to rotate into. The market might be focusing on other pairs, but sooner or later, this thing will pop, and you'll see at least one of these types of moves like you saw here back in December 18. So that's what I see on the XRP USD. Now what we're going to take a look at is XRP versus Bitcoin, XRP BTC. Okay guys, this is XRP BTC. Okay, so again, we have our moneymaker signal on here. If you guys want to get this this indicator, what you can do is you can head over to tradelikeagenius.com, and we have our coupon code here for 40% off. If you go to the software, you click on moneymaker, and this is a yearly access to this thing. It works on everything and all different time frames. It'll be 40% off our normal yearly rate, so take advantage of that. We still got some time left on that, but that's one way you can get that signal if you want to get this. Back to the XRP BTC. So basically, I'm looking at this on a weekly because I think this is the best way to look at trading XRP BTC. Okay, you have these periods where it just continues to kind of dribble down. You have kind of smaller weekly candle bodies, but you have a definite trend line that you can follow. And basically, guys, what I look for would be you have to run a buy stop over this trend line, okay, and then catch that move, because the way XRP moves off of these trend lines, it's if you're waiting to see the move happen, it will happen so fast you're likely not going to be able to catch that trade and it takes off. So I would just basically run a buy stop order. So in other words, when the price hits above that trend, and I wouldn't go right above the trend line, I'd move it, enough where you're not getting faked out on a slight break over it. Either that or set your alarms for a trend line break on TradingView. If you have the right package, you can actually add an alert on those, okay, and wake you up to the fact that that thing's happening. Because in my opinion on these, especially the XRP BTC moves, when they start fast, and a lot of times they'll leave without you, okay. So that's how I'd like to view XRP BTC. You really don't want to get, because as you can see in this move down here, look at the candles on the weekly. All right, it's getting going, and it doesn't really follow through. But what you want to see is a decent move over that weekly trend line. And because this is a weekly move, all right, so that first day you'll see that move and get alerted to it. So you'll be able to generally speaking, off of these weekly trend lines, you'll have some time to react. But if you're not wanting to deal with that, you can always just set a buy stop and then let that thing catch you into that trade. You set it high enough above the trend line, you should not get faked out, especially when the move has been established on that trend line, like we have here. Once they're established and they have several touches, usually the next time it's breaking above that, you're good to go. So like on this here, now this one's a little interesting because unlike these last few that happened, okay, this one is actually, instead of just hugging it and then finally breaking through, it's actually just rolled off. And for a major pair, and a major pair meaning that it's one of the bigger market caps, right? I'm surprised that it's done this where the other ones, the other big market cap pairs haven't really done this. So it's kind of interesting. There's a little bit of a, I don't know if it's people wanting to just kind of wait and get it lower, or what, or the market's just not focusing on this pair right now. But I would not be in a rush to get into this. What you could do, this level here at 61,000 sats, 61,100 sats. Okay, this is a support level for XRP. You could take a stab here. I wouldn't give it too much, room to the downside, because you are getting into this volume void here. Okay, and then that's probably going to take you down to this next volume void. If it doesn't stop there, you can see a quick dip down to that 49,644 sat level. Okay, and that's the risk there. So you could try to play that, keep it relatively tight stop, or wait for this trend line to finally break up. Okay, that's how I would play XRP BTC. It's literally that simple, because this thing doesn't move very organically. It's a kind of a funky chart when it comes to the XRP BTC pair. So just that's the best way to trade this off of these, because once it gets into these moves down week after week after week, it stays like that. I mean, look at this from December. I mean, you just really don't gain any traction at all. It's just a steady drain down, and then it'll just finally bust out. This last time it did that, your entire move blew off in one weekly candle, and that was it. So the moves are quick. You got to take profit. You should probably have multiple profit targets, and you just don't know if you're going to get one of these runner type things where this one lasted. But again, this was in the height of the bull market. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of just nothing but straight up. And you're really not going to have to expect to see that anytime soon before we get into another full blown bull market. I think it's a little premature. You're probably looking at something more along the lines of like what happened here and what happened here, at least off of these trend line breaks. So, keep it realistic as far as your expectations on those breaks. But if you have accumulated off of these levels, and then you're going to get a move like that up, at least you have an opportunity to take profit and take some partial profits, and then move your stops up so that you've taken all risk off. Now move your stop up to where you got in. If it does run, great, you can trail your stop up. If it doesn't, on the remaining amount, then you just get stopped out at break even. But that's the technique you have to have with this XRP BTC pair until it shows us that it can sustain some kind of trend. And just right now, it isn't doing that. But I do think there is an explosive move off this trend line coming sooner or later. So that's how I'd play it. All right, guys, so that's it. That's XRP BTC and XRP USD. Again, on the USD pair, I think good accumulation levels are going on here. And as far as the XRP BTC pair, just be diligent. Watch this level, this support level here at 61,100 approximately, or the trend line break on this current trend line. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that helps. Please hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.
Trade Genius.